Okay, so I want to start. We've got a lot to talk about today, but I want to start with the story from Florida. So, just to
Mhm.
give our folks a little background, in early February, a hacker accessed a water treatment facility in Oldsmar, Florida. A plant operator watched as his cursor was commandeered and dashed around the screen, opening software functions until it landed on the setting to control the water level of sodium hydroxide, or lye. The hacker increased the sodium hydroxide level 100-fold, which would have sickened residents and destroyed pipes with its huge rise in the alkali level. So I want to start because there's going to be a lot of postmortems and whatever. I want to sort of start with what the plant did right, based on real-time events as they happened and the ability to stop the attack from actually reaching the water supply. What safety measures were effective in preventing a worst-case scenario?
So I want to be really clear here that the operator did his job. So there's some interesting things that when I was really digging into the incident a couple times, and I wanted to make sure before we talked today that I had gotten my facts right. And the operator actually saw this actor twice. So
Wow.
once at 8 a.m., and he
Hmm.
thought it was his boss because it was somebody just kind of poking around, not doing anything
Yeah, he
nefarious.
thought it was like a
And
team
then
viewer kind of situation or something.
right,
It's like, okay,
exactly. I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah,
remote access. It's what
yeah,
you do.
right.
I mean,
That's
everybody
what we're
knows
all
how to do
doing now.
that. You
Yeah,
see somebody, you call your help desk and they log in, right? So,
right.
same sort of thing. It just happened to be on a human machine interface to control all the water treatment stuff. But anyway, so then he goes about doing his job, and around 1:30ish, he sees somebody come again, and they said it was about maybe 5 minutes. But the operator is doing his job. He sees this activity, and he goes, "Oh, oh no!" Stops it. The actor leaves, and then what shows me that they had something right is they had a process in place for escalation. So they immediately started an escalation process to say something bad has happened. They attempted to do something, so they knew to call the sheriffs. They had a process internally
Okay,
for the operator was empowered to make some calls. And I don't know how exactly it escalated, but it did go to the sheriff's office.
right.
So that shows me that they had an incident response plan. So that's really, really good. I've done cyber exercises when my previous role in the government, where we would test what we call gray area scenarios, where you might not be sure necessarily something's going on. So just like we said at the 8 a.m. when he saw the cursor moving, not entirely sure. There can be things that happen that may not necessarily be attributable to a cyber incident. This one was fairly evident, like to the point of being comical that the guy's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
poking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right. But that you were able to say, and you were empowered, and the operator knew that the next steps, and that's not for nothing. That is a big deal, particularly when, and we're going to talk a little bit, I think, further about
Hmm.
what went wrong and why
Right.
was it this way. But that is very important. Process and procedure is very important to have,
Yes.
and being able to have the empowerment. Hold on, I'm going to shut my.
Okay.
I have my email open, so let me cut
Oh,
that
yeah.
down since I'm getting a bunch.
Hey,
Don't
you
want
got a
to
coupon
inundate
for
you.
a free pizza. Why don't you click that
I
coupon?
know all the dings. Hang on, guys. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
You can see that I've become a lot more casual now that we've got
Right.
Zoom all the time. Okay,
Sure.
this is
Oh,
open.
yeah.
I've got way too many things open.
Living through the
All
webcam here.
right, sorry guys. You're gonna have cheers
That's
to
all right.
that. You're gonna be dealing with all of my email dings. My apologies.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, so let's pivot to that. What went wrong? What was how was the hacker able to get this far, and what security systems were or weren't in place to prevent such a thing?
So I kind of chuckle at the idea of get this far from everything I've seen. And I've seen this in person. I've been to water utilities. I've been to a variety of other utilities
Hmm.
where I mean, the focus is necessarily on operations, making sure that you have clean water, that
Yeah.
your waste is treated, that your water is drinkable. That is the most important thing that
Yeah.
the water treatment
It's-
facility can do.
yeah.
And in that, you may have, which was the case in Oldsmar, I believe, a completely wide open to the universe network
Hmm.
that there are no firewalls. There is just direct access. So getting this far, it's not, you think of the Purdue model, if your listeners are familiar, where you start up here and you go down and there may be a DMZ and then there's some additional controls. And so you
Okay.
really have to, be very sophisticated to work your way down. This appears not to have been the case, that this was just something that a relatively unsophisticated actor was able to access. And
Wow.
you can go on Shodan and find internet accessible control systems quite easily.
Hmm.
There's lots of them.
Oof.
And that's has been and always will be terrifying, but it's
Yeah.
just the reality of the way we live.
Right.
So, to the question of like, why weren't the security systems in place? There's a lot of reasons. I mean, again, they're focused on doing their job. And when you're setting up as a small municipal utility, I believe Oldsmar services 15, definitely under 20,000
Okay.
folks.
Mhm.
So that's not a big utility. I would say a mid-sized utility, I think, is around 250 to 300,000 people. So this is a small municipal utility, owned or operated, that the town has to make decisions about cost and spending.
Right.
And when you're going to make decisions, what's the most important thing? And the most important thing is doing your job and making sure that the
Clean
water's
the water.
clean and
Yeah.
safe. Yep.
Mhm. New episodes of the Cyberwork podcast are available every Monday at 1 p.m. Central. And don't forget to check out our hands-on training series, Cyberwork Applied. Each week, expert Infosec instructors teach you a new cybersecurity skill and show you how that skill applies to real-world scenarios. Go to infosecinstitute.com/learn to stay up to date on all things cyberwork.